bar for reaching your personal best. We've only got one. You. Auctioneer Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
I'm Nick DeLuca. College Hoops Champions Classic at MSG tonight. Kansas freshman Darren Peterson will miss the game against Duke with a hamstring injury. Peterson, the projected #1 pick in the NBA draft, finished with 22 points in a loss to North Carolina on November 7th in his most recent action. Champions Classic coverage here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app beginning at 6 Eastern for Kentucky, Michigan State, followed by Duke and Kansas with tip-off at 9 Eastern. In the NFL, Week 12 opens up with Texans-Bills Thursday Night Football. Houston ruling out quarterback C.J. Stroud again as he remains in concussion protocol. Davis Mills will make another start. He's 2-0 as a starter this year. Stroud is set to return to practice with a plan for him to play next Sunday against the Colts. In baseball, Yankees outfielder Trent Grisham accepting the $22 million qualifying offer and returning to the team. Grisham hit .235 with a career-high 34 homers in 2025. Tigers second baseman Gleyber Torres also accepting the QO. He'll go back to Detroit.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy. Coming on Wednesday, the Chiefs are currently outside of the playoffs, so have they lost their aura, and can they get it back? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in about 15 minutes. Talk some Cruton. Sean Salisbury in hour 3. We'll head to Gainesville. Zach Abolverdi will be here in hour 3 to give us the Florida side of the Kiffin saga. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, another day in the Lane Kiffin saga. Will he, won't he, what will he do? So when we were here a day ago, there was a report from Stuart Mandel over at The Athletic that Ole Miss had given Lane Kiffin an ultimatum. It was the word used, and actually a date on it was the Egg Bowl, that Black Friday, November the 28th. And on Monday evening, I had multiple people suggest to me that the term ultimatum was too strong of a term. That wouldn't actually be accurate. Neither was the date. And I think Stuart Mandel's report is maybe tap dancing around some truth. Maybe this is just one of those instances where semantics matter, like how you phrase something matters, which could give certain sides plausible deniability in all of this. The tenets that I think remain true are Lane Kiffin has interest from Florida, Lane Kiffin has interest from LSU, and Lane Kiffin could certainly stay at Ole Miss. And at this point, when I ask around, and I mean, most of my life these days, and this is what happens in coaching searches, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining. Most of my life is spending all day talking to anyone who would have any type of insight into what is happening to see what stories start to align. And I mean people from Ole Miss, from LSU, from Florida, media people, administrators, boosters, agents, all of them. Politicians, everybody. Whoever might have some line. Players, family members, family of players. There's lots of different people who could have a take, insight, collective people. There's lots of people that have some semblance or understanding of what's happening to some degree. And so you try to piece the puzzle together. And I think what we know is there's 3 options on the table from which Lane Kiffin will choose. Stay at Ole Miss, go to Florida, go to LSU. It feels like, certainly since the weekend, LSU has overtaken Florida. Meaning if Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss, I think he picks LSU. There's always the possibility he stays at Ole Miss. I certainly think that's a possibility at this point. I don't know how real of a possibility, but I think that there's a possibility that happens. The timing is the other part of this, which is really interesting as we continue to map it all out, because what's pretty clear is that Lane Kiffin wants to coach his team in meaningful games, but Ole Miss, if Lane Kiffin isn't going to stay, needs to get moving on its coaching search. And so that's why there is some urgency, I would say. Instead of saying ultimatum, I would say urgency from Ole Miss's side to have an answer from Lane Kiffin as to what's going to happen, some finality. And so Lane Kiffin did something that I would not have advised him to do in any way, similar to a couple of weeks ago when the governor of Louisiana gave his press conference and then went on McAfee and came on this show. And then the new president had his misstep and then gave an interview and went on radio in New Orleans and then was putting out statements. Anyway, my opinion is, in covering not only coaching searches, just a lot of different things over 20 plus years, if you just don't say anything at all, the news cycle will pass you by. Like the example that I have given for more than 20 years is, and if you're old enough to remember this, this will immediately jar in your brain. Do you know what the number one story in the world was on September the 10th, 2001? The number one story in the world. Where is Chandra Levy? Now, I know there's a lot of you people who don't have any idea what I just said. But if you're old enough to remember what was going on in the world in September of 2001, that story, if you're a kid, look it up. That story dominated every minute of every day. And then the towers fell, and in a quarter century since, no one has mentioned the name Chandra Levy. Like, that's an extreme example, but the point being, the news cycle never stops. And if you just don't say anything, something else is going to overtake the news cycle. So just don't say anything. But Lane Kiffin decided to say something today, really loudly. I mean, a day after his wife gets on a plane to Baton Rouge, she spends Sunday in Gainesville, his ex-wife, is Sunday in Gainesville, Monday in Baton Rouge, flying out of the University Oxford Airport. I mean, boom. I mean, it is the University Oxford Airport. Private jet, Baton Rouge, Oxford, like, you ain't even trying to hide it. While all this is going on and you're trying to profess your love to Ole Miss and your family is touring Baton Rouge, it's probably a good time, open date, probably a good time just not to say anything. But Lane Kiffin went on McAfee and talked about that ultimatum.
That's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that at all. And so I don't know where that came from, like a lot of stuff that comes out there. Like I said, man, we're having a blast. I love it here. I mean, our running back sitting right over here. It just couldn't be better. Like I said, you pray for things. Our fans prayed for this type of thing, and now we're in the middle of it. So enjoy it. You're 10-1. You're getting ready. You got a bye week. You get to watch half the country lose, and there's no way we can lose Saturday. And then you play the Egg Bowl and go dominate that and keep that Egg Bowl trophy home where it's been for a long time.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Stop talking. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think what he hoped to accomplish there was to quiet things. I think he very much missed the mark. If I could give you my summation, I'll tell you part of what I've told you for 2 weeks, which is Lane Kiffin is LSU's number one target. And I do believe when you heard all of the reports out of Gainesville late last week that done deal. I believe that they thought it was a done deal. All the while, Lane Kiffin was planning a trip to Baton Rouge, which tells you Florida was not a done deal, which tells you the fact that he hasn't signed his contract as he's keeping his options open, and all the stuff that are very obvious at this point. My best guess is this. I think Lane Kiffin wants to leave Ole Miss. I think even if this team is very good, can make the playoff, all that stuff, he knows long-term he's got a lower ceiling. I think he wants to leave Ole Miss. I think at this point, LSU has overtaken Florida. I do not think that was the case maybe a week ago, but I do think that is the case now. I think a big part of that is Florida got into the sweepstakes before LSU. They had expressed interest in Lane Kiffin earlier, and he had maybe gotten used to the idea until LSU entered the fray and started making their pitch, and people like Jimmy Sexton and Nick Saban maybe people professionally started steering him toward LSU instead of Florida. And then his family was here on Monday. And I think at this point, LSU has overtaken Florida if he leaves. If he leaves. And that's the complicating factor because I think Lane Kiffin wants to coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff, which is not necessarily this deep loyalty to Ole Miss or that team. I think it is legacy. Does he want to be the guy who left his team, the first coach to leave his team, who made a college football playoff? And ultimately, the fact that he wants that stage. He wants to be on the stage to coach his team in the playoff. What I think, opinion here, what I think is going to happen is Lane Kiffin and their athletic director, Keith Carter, the other particulars there, they're not going to let this get to the Egg Bowl. I don't think this gets to next Friday. Maybe a formal announcement waits until next Friday, but I can't see this lingering through there because what is happening now is Ole Miss, if they're going to be replacing their coach, is behind in the hiring cycle. For example, all the talk about, I'll throw out hypothetically with John Summerall, who's right down the road at Tulane. There is so much smoke around John Summerall and Auburn. Well, if Ole Miss is interested in John Summerall, which would be a great hire, by the way, and they wait 2 weeks, they may miss their window to hire John Summerall because Auburn could, I'm just using a hypothetical, by the way, because I don't know definitively that I don't cover Auburn. I mean, I've heard the same things you all have heard, so I'm just using this as a hypothetical. Or you could look at something that actually happened, which is Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech hired James. This season's not even over yet. There's 2 more weeks in this season, the regular season, and Virginia Tech's already hired James Franklin. The whole cycle's moved up. So what would stop Auburn from hiring John Summerall today? I know Tulane is playing for the conference, potential playoff, all that stuff, but what do you want to do? I mean, they could force the issue there. So I think what really is going to push this decision from Lane Kiffin ahead of next Friday is not necessarily the Egg Bowl or the college football playoff. It's Ole Miss's opportunity in this hiring cycle to get the guy that they want, whomever that may be, because you don't want to wait 2 more weeks. I mean, every day is an eternity in a hiring cycle. And James Franklin's already off the board. Who's next? I just don't think I just don't know how this drags until next Friday with the Egg Bowl. I don't think there's an ultimatum. I just think we're going to see Lane Kiffin and Keith Carter ultimately sit down. As I'm told, Ole Miss practices. They have their open date this weekend. They practice on Thursday, and then the team's off Friday, Saturday, Sunday before they get back for work on Mississippi State on Monday. It sure feels like some domino could fall before next week's Egg Bowl. All right, it's after further review. Show Up in Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. You're going to be out there this weekend for LSU and Western Kentucky. Tailgate, home gate, and game watch party, whatever it may be, make sure you got plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Make sure you look for the cans or the 16-ounce aluminum bottles with the officially licensed LSU logo. Drink easy with the Tigers and our great friends over at Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Okay, all Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Quick break, come back, talk some recruiting with Shea Dixon. Don't you move.
After further review.
Want to feel like your younger self? You can. You can do it affordably and safely. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Matt, I thought that was ED. They do ED treatments. And not just pills. They do all different types of treatments. If you suffer from ED, they can help. Look them up. But there's so much more than just ED. Hormone replacement therapy is a major part of their menu of services over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. It's a simple blood test. One simple blood test can look at your biology and let you know if you're a candidate for HRT, how they can safely, affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels. And remember, if the lowest prices and never any contracts, so men, even if you're currently on HRT, and I know a lot of you are, even if you're on HRT, it's worth switching. They have lower prices, and by the way, when you go every 6 months for your blood labs, at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, they pick up that cost. They don't charge you for the blood labs. They pay for that. It's Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Have a better experience. YourGoodwood.com. Visit YourGoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Lockmair to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmair to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com. Black Friday turns green, by the way. Save up to $5,000 on equipment coming up on Black Friday at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every Tuesday. Talk a little recruiting. How are you, man? Shea, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, let's pot it down and see if we can get reconnected there with Shea. A lot I want to talk about. LSU has its final home game. Obviously, home games are big recruiting opportunities. And new rankings are out as well. So I want to dive into some of that. Some of the LSU commitments have gotten a little bit of a bump. So we'll talk about that with Shea Dixon here in just a sec. As soon as we can get him. Of course, Rivals is part of the On3 network. They're the recruiting site. So we'll get Shea back on board with us. And by the way, if you missed in the open of the show, we are going to go to Gainesville in hour 3. Zach Abolverdi will be here. He covers the Gators. Yesterday we had Neil McCready here from Rebels 247 to kind of give the Ole Miss side of the Kiffin drama. We'll look at what the Florida side seems to be. We'll get that today in hour 3 along with Sean Salisbury. We got Shea? Okay, we got Shea. Hey, Shea, how are you, man?
I think I was messing around with different AirPods. Rookie mistake.
Happens. We appreciate it. Hey, final home game of the year this weekend in Tiger Stadium. What's on tap from a recruiting perspective here for the final home game?
Yeah, look, Western Kentucky. We talked about this a week ago that you won't get a ton of big names in, but I think it'll be similar, Matt, to this past weekend, which was get your commits on campus, get guys for next year on campus, whether it be in LSU or in Louisiana or outside the state. And look, without a head coach or new staff in place or the unknown of it, it's tough to flip guys. They did it once already, but they're also bringing in some guys that they feel through evaluation have had late rises in Louisiana. And notably, they're all receivers. And look, we've seen this before. Foster Morrow fit that bill at tight end. Russell Gage is a receiver. Like, these are starters at LSU and future NFL players. So it's always nice to bank on that built-in talent in Louisiana. And they flipped Kervin Johnson. We talked about that a few weeks back. That was like the day after Brian Kelly got fired. This past weekend, they brought in another guy, Braden Allen, who plays at LCA over in Lafayette, which is where Juwan Johnson and Sage Ryan, all those guys all came out of LCA. And he's had a huge senior year, and so much so that Tulane took his commitment right when the season began. Then he took off. OU flips him. And then they brought him in for a visit this past weekend. But by the time the dust settled on the visit, and given the unknowns at LSU and the not so unknowns at Oklahoma, which didn't seem to be the case 2 months ago, but turnaround of a season there. And he said, hey, look, I'm talked to my family and I'm sticking with this decision. So with signing day a few weeks away, it's tough to pull guys away from a commitment to a program that's got stability, which is kind of a thing we talked about this time a week ago when they had the only guy who decommitted from this class, D'Anthony Lafayette, not from Louisiana, he's from Florida. And he said, look, I wanted to play at LSU, but I'd have to sign here in a few weeks, and I don't know who's going to be coaching there. So I'm going to just go to Miami, the other school that's been recruiting me, who is not going to have any coaching turnover.
Shea, the other thing that is a giant part of this whole process right now is in LSU's pursuit of Lane Kiffin, what may happen with guys who are currently committed, and then, excuse me, I had to sneeze. And then what about potential flips from other schools? So play that hypothetical with me if you would. If LSU does hire Lane Kiffin, I mean, it's very much in play right now. What would that mean for potentially flipping guys in that class to LSU?
I think it could come into play. I lean more into the portal, right? Like what players on Ole Miss's team may follow Kiffin to if he leaves wherever he goes. We're playing the LSU kind of angle here. So a quarterback, he's got two of them. One of them's pretty good and doesn't even play. He found the other one on Twitter. So like there's two guys that most people would bring up. And obviously, look, they took Malik Neighbors' high school quarterback in Trey Harris and made him into an all-SEC type receiver who went on to get drafted. So yes, they'll have guys on that roster that they'd be interested in. Recruiting wise, I think more so than guys flipping from Ole Miss to LSU, it might be just the ability to stabilize what you have and sign in the early period, December 3rd to 5th. And I say that because right now, yes, Lane's denying ultimatum. That there is no ultimatum. Well, I guess, Matt, are we playing a verbiage game here? I mean, is it, it's kind of like, look, I'm certain from everyone we've talked to, I've heard you talk about it too, and rightfully so. Ole Miss would like to know an answer too, because if he leaves, they're thrust into this coaching carousel that everyone else has had a head start on, so much so that one of these teams, if they get into a coaching search, Matt, one of these teams got such a head start that they hired Lane Kiffin. So why would Ole Miss want to be caught behind the eight ball there? And there's talk around Summerall, who is the clear favorite for Auburn. Well, what if Ole Miss wants to get into the Summerall mix? So when you toss in the playoffs, everything around the program, and then them dealing with signing day, right? Like they've got a bunch of commits who are wondering what's going to happen here from December 3rd to 5th and what the staff will look like. And Kiffin's been given plenty of opportunities to turn it down and say, I'm staying. And the Brent Key cut me open and see what I bleed, or the Dan Lanning just very quickly, I'm literally not leaving Oregon. Don't ask me anymore about it. And that hasn't been the Lane Kiffin approach. So there's a lot of schools that are sitting around with recruits, current players, all wondering, hey, are we about to lose a coach? Or, hey, what is the ultimate path that we're going to hire a new staff, whether it be LSU, Florida, or Auburn, or Arkansas?
Shea, there's a lot of hypotheticals, which will be fascinating, which I don't think are going anywhere until, obviously, we get finality with Lane Kiffin's decision, or if that domino falls. But one thing that we do know, of course, is there's been updated recruiting rankings for this class. And the guy that's been steady with LSU throughout, Lamar Brown, got a bump in the Rivals 300. Let's talk a little bit about the prospect from U-High, now number 5 in the nation.
Yeah, number 5 at Rivals, number 1 overall on the Rivals industry rankings, which, compiles all of the major services into one. And he had held that spot before, but now he holds firm in what is the back end of everyone's senior seasons. And not often is a kid of that size who could play O-line, D-line, either way, ranked as the number 1 athlete, right? That's usually a kid that you don't know if he's playing receiver or corner yet, and he's just good enough to play either. The Travis Hunter types finished as number 1 athletes. Lamar Brown is not that. He is all of 280 something. He is well over Matt, 6'4", 5, north of that. Yeah. I mean, he is about as good looking as a high school prospect in the trenches as you can get. So he keeps his 5-star status, keeps number 1 overall in the industry rankings. And then old Richard Anderson, who nobody from the city will be surprised by this, and they'll just ask how it didn't happen sooner. But from about his junior year, midway through his junior year, through Carr's state title game, and now Carr again is one of the best teams in the entire country, he's a big reason. They have a lot of good players, but he's single-handed. I mean, he could get triple teamed, and he wins every time. There's been coaches who have told me, off the record, they can't speak on high school recruits who aren't signed, that he's the best D-tackle they've evaluated in their careers, not like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that this is the best Louisiana D tackle up there with the Glenn Dorseys and other guys who came out as highly touted prospects and then had great college and pro careers. So Richard Anderson gets his 5-star. I think he's in that top 15 range. So you've got two guys, and Lamar Brown wants to play D-line. So two of your D-linemen, and you've got a handful of them still committed, are 5-stars. You know, talking about winning in the trenches, and I know everyone cares about the O-line right now, but boy, don't skip over a reality where you're a few weeks away from signing two 5-star D-linemen that everybody considers 5-stars, meaning they're probably going to live up to that billing.
Shea Dixon, On3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, any other prospects, any other movers in the Rivals 300 we should be aware of in these new rankings?
Yeah, you know, one guy who moved up again for us at least, and he's still a top 10 overall offensive tackle, so we can talk about that position with the Rivals industry rankings, but we moved him up a bunch of spots. That's Bryson Martinez out at East Ascension, and he's sort of stolen any sort of like WAFB, WBRZ type Friday night lights breakdowns, because you've got a kid who is about a really athletic offensive tackle, but he's still an offensive lineman, and he's like taking carries, he's throwing passes, he's running routes at tight end, and we got a glimpse of that in summer camp, but then they go out there and they just start rolling it out in games. So you talk about a kid who is athletic enough to play either left tackle or right tackle, that's Bryson Martinez, and he's a top 10 offensive tackle in America. And I will note, Texas is heavily on him, and he's made a visit, and he's doing his official visit. So, yes, you've got to, with 3 weeks till signing day, line things up. Look, Sloan was his area recruiter. Sloan got fired. He had committed at a time when Brian Kelly was head coach. Brian Kelly got fired. Brad Davis is his line coach. We don't know what the future holds for Brad Davis. So, for a 17-year-old to have that many unknowns, the folks around him are going to suggest, hey, look, you need to go ahead and at least explore your options. But again, he's a kid from the area. I think his hope is that everything works out and he can sign with LSU.
He's Shea Dixon, On3, the Bengal Tiger. We appreciate it as always, man. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, Matt, and real quick, I guess I should say, if Lane is kept to some sort of ultimatum, whatever it is, and a decision does come before the Egg Bowl, and it is LSU, that would make that December 3rd to 5th signing period much easier to navigate.
I would Shea, I think we're going to have a decision from Lane Kiffin. Listen, if it's in the immediate hours after the Egg Bowl, okay, but I think that's the absolute latest this goes. Hard to imagine us even getting there without there being some finality here of what they're. I don't know if you have any insight or know anything on it, and I don't know if it's going to be him staying or picking LSU or Florida. It just feels like Ole Miss is pressing that they need an answer, because if they're going to have to go find a coach, they want to get in that cycle now.
I agree with you, and I think that the one, no matter whom gets hired, right, Matt? I go back to the conversation you had with Verge, where he said by that early signing period, sure, we'd love to announce a coach. We'd at least really like to know the direction we're going. So I think that I maybe didn't put as much stock into them wanting to know things for that early high school signing period. And I had my focus on the portal in January. Now I'm with you. And I'll believe Verge there that they would like to know by then, either by naming a coach or who it would be.
Yeah. All right, Shea, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You got it, Matt. All
right, be well. Shea Dixon from On3, the Bengal Tiger. Hey, I want to remind you real quick about Parish Construction and Roofing, the 12 Days of Christmas. This is a pretty cool thing we're doing. We're excited about. At Parish, you don't have to sign up for a roof inspection or anything like that. We're just looking to team with other local businesses to bless a dozen families this Christmas. So at Parish, we're going to put up $1,000. Our friends over at Duplessis Builders is matching with another $1,000. Chris's Specialty Foods, where I went with our Parish crew, me and Tilly and Joe and Terrio, went today for lunch at Chris's. Chris's is putting up Christmas dinner for the 12 families, and Ruckus is donating shoes for a dozen families to make Christmas a little brighter for families that are less fortunate. So you have until the end of this week to nominate a family. So if there's a family in need who could use a little extra cheer this Christmas, we'd love to help you out. So go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Hit the 12 Days of Christmas tab at the top of the page. You'll see the form right there. And you get to the end of this week to nominate, and then we'll announce our winners coming up here in a week or so. Parishbuilt.com, again, is the website, parishbuilt.com. All right, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll go around the SEC next.
AFR.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. Are you tired of slow internet? Letsrev.com. Are you tired of the storm coming and knocking your internet out? Letsrev.com. Well, why would that matter? Because Rev, with 5 gigs, is backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber's buried underground. So winds blow, storm comes, trees fall on power lines, knocking out internet lines, cable. You don't have to worry about that because it's buried underneath the ground. So you're never going to go offline. LetsRev.com, LetsRev.com. More than 70,000 homeowners, business owners in our communities trust Rev. 90 years of local service. By the way, the Wi-Fi equipment is included at no additional cost. No long-term contracts are required. No unexpected price increases after your promotion period ends. The price is the price. Amazing. What a good way to do business. LetsRev.com. R-E-V. LetsRev.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Look at her face, she ain't a fooling me. She thinks my tractor's sexy, it really turns her on.
Sugarcane harvest is in full swing, so make sure you're paying attention to the roads and the trucks, even during the holidays. Farmers are out there working. We appreciate them so much and the work that they do, and there's so many of you listen. We're now the tractor, the combine. You got us when you're out there. And that deer, thank you so much for being out there. Thank you for all that you do, especially during the holiday season as well. Black Friday turns green. Save up to $5,000 on equipment from Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. Real quick, one thing that Shea talked about with us there was Bryson Martinez. I will say this, and I am not a recruiting guy. You all know that. That's why we have Shea on here, to give us recruiting info, because that is not my forte. I'm not talking to recruits. I'm not talking to high school coaches or anything of the sort. That's just not that's just not my forte. But over the summer, really, I did have the opportunity to do an NIL video shoot with our friends at Duplessis. Duplessis Builders, Derek Duplessis, awesome guy, great business. And Duplessis did an NIL deal, high school NIL deal, with Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, and Bryson Martinez. So it was a Sunday. We all went to the Duplessis showroom. There's been some of the content they put out there a little bit, but there's even more still to come. But anyway, I had a chance to sit down with each for a one-on-one chat. And the thing that struck me about Bryson Martinez, actually all three of them, while all three talked about the relationship that they had with Brian Kelly, all three talked about the importance of representing Louisiana and being close to home. And in particular, Bryson Martinez said that the primary reason that he committed to LSU was to be close to his mom. So he preps at East Ascension. He is, by the way, a massive human being. I mean, I'm looking at his profile. They got him at 6'5.5", 290. I mean, he is every bit of that. I mean, he's a giant human being and super athletic basketball player. He's playing tight end a lot this season for EA. But that was the thing that struck me, was the thing he talked about as most important in his recruitment was being close to his mom and playing where his mom could see him play. And you know, I get it. There's turnover here with a new coaching staff, and you don't know how it's going to be, head coach, position coach, all that stuff. But it's one of the benefits you have with the Louisiana guys staying home. And then also something I've said repeatedly, which is high school NIL. When these commits can do NIL deals while they're in high school with the collective. So again, the collective became pay for play. We all understand that. It wasn't true NIL. The collective was just paying the roster. Well, they can't do that anymore. Every NIL deal has to go through the clearinghouse, through Deloitte, to be approved for market value. That's not the standard for high school NIL. You can pay high schoolers whatever you want through the collective because that's not regulated by the NCAA. So the point is, LSU's collective is doing high school NIL deals. Bayou Traditions is doing high school NIL deals with Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson and Bryson Martinez. And those contracts are structured such that they're taking money now already. And if they were to flip, they would have to reimburse that money. So now maybe the place they flip to would be willing to pay that money back, but that is just another thing keeping them tethered to their commitment. So it's just something to consider, especially with the Louisiana guys. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Hey, our friends over at South Point Volkswagen, they've got Sign Then Drive going on right now. It's a deal that I've been able to tell you about for years. 0 down, 0 due at signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. Sign your name with little else. You're driving away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen. Now, they are going to be closed on Thanksgiving Day, but other than that, they're open all the way up to and through the holiday. They'll be back open on Black Friday as well. So check them out at southpointvw.com if you want to shop them. You can shop their entire inventory. If it's on the lot, it's online, like we always say. New and certified pre-owned. And we're not talking about factory stock photos, the actual photo of the vehicle that's on the lot over there on Airline Highway just north of Highland. It's South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Missouri Tigers.
Eli Drinkwitz said he anticipates that Matt Zollers will start when Missouri plays Oklahoma Saturday, but injured starter Bo Pribula is progressing and could return this year. Pribula has also been practicing with some limitations and went through warm-ups this past Saturday before the Mississippi State game.
The Florida Gators.
Florida interim head coach Billy Gonzalez confirmed that defensive tackle Caleb Banks is attempting to return to play this season after undergoing surgery for a foot injury back in September. He traveled with Florida to Ole Miss, went through pregame warm-ups, but did not play. Really cool story there that Banks, with such a high NFL ceiling, a lost season, interim coach, is still trying to get back out there for the Gators these past few weeks.
The Auburn Tigers.
Linebacker DeMarcus Riddick is out after a shoulder procedure. He'll miss the remainder of the season. Auburn Undercover was the first to report it. He was at practice Tuesday in street clothes. After a standout freshman season, that injury has limited him to just 13 tackles on the season.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
OU got a commit from 2027 cornerback Michael Davis out of Arizona, the number 395 overall recruit for 2027. He's a three-star, the number 41 cornerback in the country, picked Oklahoma over Alabama and Ohio State.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And linebacker Max Mooring has flipped his commitment from Kentucky to Northwestern. He's out of Pennsylvania, the number 87 linebacker in the country. That leaves Kentucky without a linebacker commit for 2026. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, y'all, it is after further review. The question that I've been asked the most around the LSU coaching search that I have no answer to is, hey, man, if they don't get Lane Kiffin, who's next? So we've thrown around a bunch of names that a lot of people have heard, and whenever we get some type of statement on the record from these potential candidates, we'll share it with you. Well, Eli Drinkwitz was the latest to talk about it. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes after SportsCenter. Let me knock out a break. We'll wrap up hour number one. We'll get some of your questions. You can email us, tweet us, text us, or jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And Tiger basketball back on the floor tonight against Alcorn. I'm sure it's going to be a barn burner. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. Little bit of a warm-up here of late. As a matter of fact, it's 82 degrees in Baton Rouge. We were in the 30s a week ago. So you've had a little bit of a respite. Haven't had to use your heater. Awesome. But it's only a matter of time. The cold front's going to come back. You're going to be cranking on your heater. Make sure you get your heater cleaned, tuned up, running efficiently and safely for that coming cold weather. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. They're all over town. They're going to give you exceptional customer service. They're never going to overcharge you. And if you're a member of their maintenance club, that annual seasonal maintenance is free. 752-0001.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Lock Mayor Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Mayor Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. The basketball Tigers are back on the hardwood tonight. For those that are interested in keeping tabs on Matt McMahon's squad, they're undefeated. They've got 3 blowout wins, and they'll have another one tonight. They're playing Alcorn State, and let's just be honest, it's a SWAC school, and I don't mean any disrespect to the SWAC. You're just talking about the SWAC and the MEAC being the two weakest of the Division I leagues, and so the Braves are wait, hang on. My apologies. The there it is. Sorry, I was looking for a line for you tonight if I could find it. Alcorn is 0-5. They've played all road games. LSU 3-0. The line is 32.5. I might actually be interested in laying the 32.5 in this game because LSU will do to Alcorn State what it's done in each game so far, which is run over a rudderless opponent. Tigers are, have been impressive so far, but I just don't know what to tell you. It's fun to watch some of the size, which they lacked a year ago. It's fun to watch a guy like Max McKinnon shoot, which they lacked shooting a year ago. But I also watched this team do this a year ago in the pre-conference, where they were 11-2 in the pre-conference, had some nice pre-conference wins, and then they got into the league and they won 3 league games. So, and one of only 2 teams in the conference not to make the NCAA tournament. So, if you have a healthy degree of skepticism, a wait and see attitude with this team, I don't blame you. So I'm right there with you. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll have the game on tonight. I won't be locked into every minute of it. It'll mostly be background. By the way, shout out to Hunt Palmer, who is going to be on the broadcast. John Brady apparently a little under the weather tonight, so it'll be Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers, with Hunt Palmer riding a sidecar there. So that'll be interesting. Get to listen to old Hunt Palmerio on the radio broadcast tonight. So maybe that's another reason to lock into LSU tonight against Alcorn. So Tigers and Braves tonight from the Maravich Center, 7 o'clock. If you want to check it out, you can. It's there for you. All right, it is after further review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. In that interview on the McAfee show, Lane Kiffin denied the ultimatum that he got from Keith Carter, their athletic director. As I've said, I think that's sort of semantics. But the hard part with all of this, watching how Lane Kiffin's managing it, is it feels like he's out there trying to do damage control, but he's making it worse. Because the only thing that his fan base wants to hear is him say, "I'm staying." That's the only thing they want to hear. And anything other than that is not going to satisfy them. So it's no point really in speaking. But he talked about focusing on winning there and all that.
I know that, Coach. I've said when they're like, "Hey, all this stuff," and they're like, "Are you focused on other places?" I said, "No, I'm focused on winning, because now what I've learned in college football, we have our little group chat with like Sark and Kirby and a couple guys, and we came up with this: you lose 1, you're out of the top 10. You lose 2, you're out of the top 25. You lose 3, you get fired. So we're focused on our job of trying to get to 1-0 every week, because that's the profession we're in now.
I can't help but think. I just would be willing to bet you Lane Kiffin never thought this team would be 10-1. That he didn't think they'd win at Oklahoma. I mean, they were a breath away from beating Georgia on the road. I bet he felt like it was going to go a different way. Like they'd be a 3-loss team and he could bow out, and there would be a logical path for him to bow out. People say, look, he did a bunch there, but he kept bumping up against the glass ceiling. But here they are at 10-1 and destined for the playoff. And he's still looking for the escape hatch. Makes it a fascinating time. So we'll continue to follow it. Got a couple of other coaches in the cycle. We'll get to that after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Supper Club is back open tonight. Of course, they're open Tuesday to Saturday, so get by Supper Club tonight. If you've never been, tonight's as good a night as any to make it your first time to get by Supper Club. Maybe call your significant other, say, hey, look, we're not cooking tonight. We're not heating up leftovers. We're going to Supper Club. And you might say, well, I would go to Supper Club on a special occasion, an anniversary, a birthday, a promotion, a graduation, to celebrate something. And that's great. Supper Club is an awesome place to celebrate anything. But the truth is, the night you go to Supper Club is the memorable night. It's the dining experience that you'll talk about forever. From the amazing presentation of the apps, when they come out with the big blowtorch and torch tableside, your creme brulee, the creative cocktails, everything about it is memorable. That's why any night is a perfect night to get by Supper Club.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Today,
we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. College Hoops Champions Classic at MSG tonight. Coverage here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app beginning at 6 Eastern for Kentucky and Michigan State, followed by Duke and Kansas with tip-off at 9 Eastern. Jayhawks freshman Darren Patterson will miss tonight's game with a hamstring injury. Peterson, the projected #1 pick in next summer's NBA draft, finished with 22 points in a loss to North Carolina on November 7th in his most recent action. In baseball, Yankees outfielder Trent Grisham accepting the $22 million qualifying offer and returning to the team. Grisham hit .235 with a career-high 34 homers in 2025. Tigers second baseman Gleyber Torres accepting the qualifying offer. He'll go back to Detroit, hit 16 homers and 74 RBI in his first season in Detroit. Brewers starter Brandon Woodruff also signing the QO. So is Shota Imanaga to return to the Cubs. NFL Week 12 coming up. Texans ruling out quarterback C.J. Stroud for Thursday night against the Bills.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy. Coming on Wednesday, the Chiefs are currently outside of the playoffs, so have they lost their aura, and can they get it back? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And a Mr. Toby Tom play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Sean Salisbury in 1 hour. We'll also head to Gainesville about 90 minutes from right now as we continue to follow the Lane Kiffin saga. Of course, a day ago, Lane's ex-wife Layla was in Baton Rouge along with, her sister-in-law, Angela Kiffin. Lane's brother, Chris, who's on staff there at Ole Miss. Chris's wife, Angela, was here with Layla, and 2 of Angela's children were in town as well, so it was the 4 of them. Lane was not in Baton Rouge a day ago, but one day after that saga, Lane was a guest on the McAfee show, denied the conversation of an ultimatum. Opened the show with that today. Kind of falls in line with what I was told last night. I do think this is just sort of a conversation of semantics where I think the word ultimatum was probably too strong that Stuart Mandel used in that report. I also don't believe that there's this hard and fast date of next Friday, the 28th. What I do think is best I could sort of gather here is I think for Ole Miss, a perfect world would be Lane stays they play the Egg Bowl, and they announce after the Egg Bowl that he's staying. I think they're probably trying to figure out a way that if he is leaving, they can get through the week of the Egg Bowl, presumably win that game, punch their ticket to the playoff, and then they can announce Lane is leaving and then would not coach the team in the playoff, and they would have an interim situation. As I understand it, if they do get to an interim situation there in Oxford, Joe Judge, while I don't think this decision has been made, I think Joe Judge, who was formerly on staff at Alabama and was the head coach of the New York Giants, Joe Judge would be very likely the interim head coach for Ole Miss if Lane does in fact leave and he's not allowed to coach the playoff. So just a few of the updates as this Lane Kiffin saga continues to carry on. We have a lot of content as well for free up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go check it out. It's everything always free over at LouisianaSports.net. Hunt Palmer's got a column up about how the impact of Lane Kiffin's decision on the conference. Chris Marler has a column up about why LSU makes the most sense. All the Kiffin content is there for you. It's for free at LouisianaSports.net. Another piece about how Kiffin's move could reshape the entire SEC. If you want to go check it out, it's all there for you for free at LouisianaSports.net. While we continue to watch what may unfold with Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge, the other thing that has been pushed to the background but is still very much present is Brian Kelly's contract and buyout as LSU continues to pay its former coach. And does very much, again, illustrate how the news cycle can turn very quickly. Whereas all of the Brian Kelly contract talk dominated headlines a week ago. Prior to that, it was Brian Kelly being fired, Scott Woodward, the governor, all of that stuff. I mean, you just see how very quickly the news cycle spins and turns, and we move on to different things. But I want to illustrate why it benefits both sides potentially to reach a settlement agreement of this contract. Did you see what happened with James Franklin? So James Franklin was fired by Penn State, and he was owed $49 million. That was the buyout remaining on his deal. $49 million. Well, Franklin had a mitigation clause in his contract, and so now he's accepted the job at Penn State. And so, he's accepted the job at Virginia Tech, So now he has settled his buyout with Penn State for $9 million. So Franklin is going to get $9 million, and we don't know, by the way, yet the terms of Franklin's contract at Virginia Tech. We don't know, at least that I'm not seeing reported yet, what the length and terms of this contract are. When I see it, again, it's just not in this piece. Someone may have it somewhere. I haven't seen it yet. Supposed to have a press conference Wednesday morning to announce Franklin. But all that to say, Franklin's going to get basically a $9 million bonus from Penn State on top of the contract he's going to get from Virginia Tech and the opportunity to coach again. So from Penn State's standpoint, they're looking at this as, they just had $40 million removed from their liability to James Franklin because he got hired by Virginia Tech. Awesome for Penn State. LSU would love the same reality. You'd love for Brian Kelly to get hired somewhere, settle the $54 million buyout so you don't owe $54 million. You could agree to a lesser number. But I gave you this example last week. When Les Miles got fired and LSU was buying out Les Miles, they were paying him for 2 years until he wanted to go coach Kansas. And then they had to settle the balance of the contract so he could go coach again. And he was owed still $6 million on his buyout at the time that he took the Kansas job, and they settled for $1.6. So LSU was able to shave $4.5 million off of the buyout they owed Les Miles because he wanted to go coach again. Now, in a perfect world, if you're LSU, Brian Kelly gets a job now this cycle is coaching again, and you get relief from that $54 million buyout from the mitigation of whatever his new deal is. And so you could say, well, great, LSU should just wait till Brian Kelly gets a job, and maybe you could have a situation like this with Penn State. Yeah, you could. Or maybe it's the Ed Ogeron situation, where Ed hasn't coached since you fired him, and you paid him the full amount of his contract that was due him. And that could be what happens with Brian Kelly if he doesn't get another job. So either way, the point of a buyout is to eliminate risk on both sides. If Brian Kelly gets a job that would, in theory, pay him the amount of the contract remaining, the buyout that he has at LSU, it would effectively wipe out his buyout. So him accepting a lesser dollar amount gives him basically a bonus, is how you could look at it. The flip side of it is if you're LSU, Brian Kelly could get a job and you could end up paying him less, or he could sit on the sideline for the next 6 years. You could pay him the full $54 million. It's all about limiting risk and liability here, which is why it's a smart thing to agree to a settlement of some sort. Now, you could risk it, and it could work out. It could work out like it happened with Penn State here, because James Franklin eagerly wanted to coach again. Or it could be like what happened with Ed Ogeron, and you end up paying him the entirety of the buyout. That could be what happens with LSU and Brian Kelly. They'd be wise to settle if they could get to that point. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 is the phone number. 924-2020. You want to see 2020. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever. You can do it. Dr. Blake Williamson makes that a reality for people in our communities every single day. Call 924-2020 for that free consultation. 924-2020. LASIK, like I had. Maybe you had LASIK years ago. Your eye continues to age. Maybe you've got some different problems that propped up. Maybe PRK is an option. That's what Jake Hester had. Maybe you're doing the thing where you need your flashlight to read the menu. You're holding your phone or paper far away, squinting your face. Maybe the custom lens replacement is what you need. Point is, no matter your age or your refractive issue, if you want to see 2020, the Williamson Eye Center can help with a refractive issue for you. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. So Franklin settling his buyout is one piece of the coaching carousel spinning today. The other is that now Eli Drinkwitz has responded to the reported interest, or rumored, I should say, interest of him in other jobs. We've let you hear from a lot of coaches throughout this cycle. Kenny Dillingham, John Sumrall, Brent Key, Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning. You'll hear from Eli Drinkwitz when we come back on what he had to say about rumored interest in openings, including potentially LSU. We'll get to that as we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Big hat tip to Derek Duplessis over at Duplessis Builders. I love endorsing great businesses that deliver a great product and treat people right. But I also love endorsing great people, and Derek Duplessis is great people. And you can see it so much through their charitable works. Not just, not just the NIL deals that they've done, which is amazing and wonderful in ways that they support the Tigers. But their Dream Pool sweepstakes, teaming up with Dreams Come True of Louisiana, what they're doing with us, with Parrish, with the 12 Days of Christmas, to bless a dozen families in our community this Christmas season. I want to do business with good people, great businesses, but also great people. And that's Derek Duplessis and Duplessis Builders. If you're thinking about putting in a pool this Christmas, they'll build you a beautiful pool. They'll give you a 10-year workmanship warranty. They can design any custom pool you want, but you're also going to be dealing with great people. DuplessisBuilders.net.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Climb up in the loft, sit and talk with the radio on. She says she's got a dream, and I ask what it is. She wants a little farm and a yard full of kids.
We will talk a little bit about one big name that could very well be jumping into the transfer portal in a smidge. We've kept a close eye on all of the coaches that have been reported to be targets in this cycle, and when they're asked about it, what they say. And you well know by now there are three different categories of coaches' responses. There's the denial, the non-denial, and then the non-denial denial. And we played a lot of them for you. For example, Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State. This was his response when asked about other jobs.
I'm trying to win as many games as I can here. That is my number one focus is our players, our football team, everything about us. That's simple. Like, I am so singularly focused on us to win football games, to become a better football team, this season. Like, that's my singular focus.
Got it. So, Muse, that we would classify that as a what?
Yeah, that was a non-denial denial.
Yes, that was a non-denial denial. In fact, correct. Give something. Didn't answer the question. He did not deny it by not answering the question. A non-denial denial. John Summerall, Tulane, asked the same thing.
You got a job to do. You got to ask that question. I got a job to do. It's to coach the Tulane football team. I've dealt with it every year as a head coach. I understand it comes with the territory. I get those questions because we're having success. That's about our players. And the coaching carousel to me is not even a thought because we're in the mid-season phase. So whatever somebody else wants to do, another program wants to do, what people want to speculate, they're free to do that. UTSA has my 100% focus. Our team playing the best it can has my 100% focus.
How'd that UTSA game go?
It didn't go very well. That was ugly.
48-26. UTSA beat Tulane, by the way, that week. By the way, Muse, what we?
Yeah, it was another non-denial denial.
You got it. Very good. Brent Key, Georgia Tech. Disappointing loss a couple weeks ago, but they're trucking along over there in the ATL. What did Brent Key say?
Since I came back here, since I was named the head coach here, Kelly, outside of the time with my family, every waking second of my life is going towards building this program to get to the point that it is right now. So that in turn we can continue 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, continue to elevate this place, right? To be in that conversation, not to be in there for 2 or 3 weeks, but to be a consistent team. Not when you lose one game, people say, oh, the storybook's over. Nah, it's just beginning. I could go on and on. I could say yes, no, all that crap. Slice me open and see what colors I bleed.
I mean, yes or no would actually be an answer to the question, which I don't think he answered. Muse?
Yeah, no, he did non-denial denial.
Correct. Yeah. Another non-denial. To slice me open, see what I bleed. Yeah, but are you leaving? Or are you staying? Okay. We've been through Lane Kiffin's responses plenty. The counter answer, of course, is what Dan Lanning told Rich Eisen when he said, are you interested in other jobs? And Dan Lanning said,
yeah, I'm not leaving Oregon.
Yeah, that's a Muse.
That's denial.
That's a denial. Yes, thank you. That's a denial. Okay. And then, of course, we don't have an example of a non-denial, but a non-denial is when you say that you are open to other jobs. That's the rarest of the answers.
Mm-hmm.
The non-denial denial is the most common. The denial is rare, but it happens. You heard it there with Dan Lanning. The non-denial is the one that's odd. Like I'm interested. Yeah, call my agent. You just don't
call my agent.
Yeah, you don't hear that much.
No.
Enter Elijah Drinkwitz, the head coach at Missouri, who took his turn when he was asked about the job openings and his rumored or reported interest in them.
You know, I'm not going to comment on message board chatters, tweets, sources. You know, I've maintained with you and our team that my complete focus is on the task at hand. You know, last week, people were tired of me because I couldn't win the big game. People had me meeting with my team and telling them that I was going to another school, none of which were true. You know, all of this stuff is just a distraction. I would like to remind everybody, including our fans, we absolutely love Mizzou. We love what we're building. We've been to 6 straight bowl games. We've got the sellout streak going. Our administration has been nothing but phenomenal to me. You know, since I've been here, I've signed multiple extensions. In fact, I signed one this past summer. So my focus is going to remain on our team and our current situation.
Muse?
Non-denial denial.
Nailed it. Tell you what, this guy's on fire. You know, the interesting thing, though, Muse, about how on fire you are is how many people tried to attempt this on Twitter, and they get it wrong. You know, they'll at you and me, and they don't get it's not a hard thing here, I don't think, anyway.
They like the game a lot that we do with this, but they just haven't quite picked it up yet.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think the question I've been asked the most is, okay, Lane's top target, get that. If they miss on Lane, then what? And that has been something nobody wants to answer. And I understand why. Loose lips sink ships. And remember what happened 4 years ago. All the conversation was about Lincoln Riley. And ultimately what it came down to was Lincoln Riley had interest from LSU and Southern Cal. He ultimately chose Southern Cal. And within 24 hours of that announcement, Brian Kelly's announced at LSU. LSU had their ducks in a row. They knew if it was Riley, Kelly, whoever else might have been in there. I don't know what other names might have been on the list, but the whole time you're talking to agents, you're gauging interest, you're negotiating terms before you have a formal, okay, we're offering you this job, will you accept? And then you're on to the next, whatever the case may be. However, those things are prioritized. And so LSU was able to very quickly pivot to Kelly, or maybe Kelly was their number one all along. I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure they were in conversations and negotiations the whole time. It should be obvious to everyone at this point that Lane Kiffin is LSU's number one target. I'll repeat again today what I've said over and over again. I do not know if Lane Kiffin is going to take the LSU job. He has three really good options. He can stay at Ole Miss and become the highest paid coach in college football and continue to build at a place where he's done an exceptional job. He could take the Florida job, which has lots of resources and great tradition. He could take the LSU job, which would make him the highest paid coach in the country, give him all the resources too. He's got three great options. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm not Lane Kiffin. I don't stay in his house. He don't talk to me. I don't know. I ask people associated with Ole Miss, people associated with LSU, people associated with Florida. Media members, boosters, collective people, administrators, all over the place. Like, if you saw my call log, you'd be like, damn, yeah, I'm trying to find answers. It's the one thing I don't want to do is be blindsided. So I think I could ask 15 different people and probably get 5 people that say LSU, 5 people that say Florida, 5 people that say Ole Miss. So I don't know. I'm telling you candidly, I don't know what he's going to decide to do. I think, given what he's done to this point, it illustrates he don't want to stay at Ole Miss, because if he did, he would have already signed his extension, like Mike Elko did, like Kurt Cignetti did, like Matt Rule did. Lane hadn't done that. He's already got a deal on the table making him the highest paid coach in the country. He ain't signed it. It tells you he wants to leave. And based on the intel over the last 24 hours, certainly that I've got, it feels like LSU has pulled ahead of Florida. I do not think that was the case 5 days ago, or maybe even 48 hours ago. I do think that's the case now, that LSU has surpassed Florida. If he does end up leaving Ole Miss. But if Lane Kiffin chooses Florida or chooses to stay at Ole Miss, where does LSU go next? The one name that I don't think this would surprise anybody, but the one name that I have had people associated with LSU search tell me is on the list is Eli Drinkwitz. That doesn't mean Drink would leave Missouri for LSU. I think he would, for whatever it's worth. It doesn't mean I would like it. I would not, for what it's worth. He's had a lot of success there. I don't love what you would have to pay him to get him here. If Eli Drinkwitz could come at a more reasonable dollar amount, I'd probably be more in line with that. But he's making $9 million a year at Missouri, which means you'd have to go north of $10, $11 million. And I just am not. After the conversation we just had over the last 2 weeks about Brian Kelly's contract and buying out Brian Kelly and the way things are structured and buyouts and all that stuff, I can't get behind paying Drinkwitz $10, $11 million bucks a year. But LSU may do that. They may. They don't ask my opinion, by the way. I think John Sumrall would be a target that I've had folks express that there would be interest there. I also think there are people who LSU would ask to write really big checks who would not be fired up about hiring the Tulane coach. I'll repeat again. I think that's stupid. I think that is short-sighted. I think John Sumrall would crush at LSU. Would love this hire if they made it. But it sure seems like Sumrall is target number one for Auburn, and Ole Miss could potentially jump in the Sumrall sweepstakes if Lane Kiffin is leaving. And maybe, I'll tell you, I've not heard as much lately, as much support for Joe Brady and Kelvin Shepherd as there was early. Some of that interest seems to have waned. But the one that seems to have maybe be picking up steam is Blake Baker. I would certainly not say that Blake Baker is number one on the list. That's Lane Kiffin. I'm not even sure he's number two. But if you're looking at the next tier, I think Kenny Dillingham is on that list from Arizona State. Drinkwitz, Sumrall, Blake Baker. I think that's probably your next tier. I can't say with absolute certainty that's the case. We've heard throughout this process anything you can imagine. Brent Key and Josh Heupel and Jeff Brom, and people throw out names. But if I was putting together my exacta box, it would probably look something like that. And you understand, LSU's in a really good position with a lot of resources to attract a really good coach. And I do think we're going to have some finality on this sooner than later. All right, what about Rouse's? Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Oh, my goodness. I saw this yesterday on Rouse's Facebook. I'm so fired up for this. Been telling, I have to update my talking points. Because Rouse's, I tell you, 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. I don't know if you saw this, but Rouse's made the announcement a day ago that they are acquiring 10 grocery locations in Louisiana and Mississippi from Southeastern Grocers, which is the parent company Winn-Dixie. So with these additions now, Rouse's will have 76 stores across the Gulf Coast. So these great stores have served their neighborhoods for many years, and Rouse's is proud to welcome them, their team members, their customers into the Rouse's Markets family. That changeover will take place in early 2026. You can get more info at any of the Rouse's Facebook pages or the Rouse Facebook page or the website, rouses.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. I'll catch up on a break. When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit here about the key injuries with the Atlanta Falcons, as Raheem Morris did give an update on their quarterback situation, and obviously with Drake London when he met with reporters Monday evening. So we'll get to that here in just a smidge. Also, Sean Salisbury in 30 minutes from right now. I want Sean's take on what's going to happen there with Saints-Falcons, and then possibility of Lane Kiffin picking LSU, what LSU does at quarterback this weekend, Nussmeier's injury, Michael Van Buren's first start, all that stuff. We'll get to it as we roll along. Glad you're here on AFR.
After Further Review.
GLO. GlowResources.com, GlowResources.com. They are complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. We're moving here closer to 2026. If in 2026 you're thinking about expanding your staff and you need help finding the right people, Glow Resources can help. Ask for Casey if you're calling over there at Glow Resources asking about the professional placement division. They specialize in any type of office administrative job. Executive level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, any type of office job in any type of business, accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, and supervisor roles, and they can move quickly based on your timeline. See, at Glow Resources, they'll go perform a deep dive into the market analysis, and they'll give you up-to-date marketing data based on their findings. It doesn't matter if it's hard to fill roles, owner, VP, ops managers, call Glow Resources. GLO, GlowResources.com. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Attention diesel mechanics. River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
Yeah, they had a big-time win versus Carolina. You know, when it's a young team with a young coach, and they've gotten better throughout the course of the year, and it'll be, you know, one of our bigger rivals, and we got to go down there and get a win.
That's Raheem Morris talking about coming to New Orleans this weekend. And the Falcons will do it shorthanded. On Sunday, Michael Penix suffered an injury. Drake London also injured. Here was the Monday update on Michael Penix, whose season is over.
Obviously, the big injury news that's come out today, you know, Michael will go to IR. Don't have any further information on some of those type of things, but just putting out that he'll go to IR, so that'll be at least a 4-week deal. If anything comes up after that, you know, obviously got some second opinions. There'll be a bunch of different things that has to go on over the next couple of course of the days and figure out what else that is. And
so Michael Penix with the knee injury goes to IR. Drake London, by the way, here was the update on the receiver.
Drake, another big one from yesterday. He'll be probably week to week, and how that thing looked. So we'll kind of figure that out. It's kind of the presence we kind of use when we don't know. But we'll see. You never know. Drake can come back tomorrow and feel a lot better, but we'll get a feel for how that goes, and he'll be a week-to-week guy.
The Falcons have lost 5 straight. They're really scuffling. They're one of those teams right now at 3-7 that's kind of jockeying with New Orleans, Miami, Cleveland, Tennessee, the Jets for the worst record in the NFL. It would have really been nice to see the Falcons actually beat Carolina this past week just for that sake. But the Penix part of this is obviously notable because look, he's been their starter there in Atlanta. And so you're replacing a guy that's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards this year, a young player, but their starting quarterback. And also Drake London, who is by a wide margin their leading receiver. So Drake London on the season for Atlanta has 60 receptions on 94 targets. For context, the next closest targets is Kyle Pitts, their tight end, with 62. So he's got 30. Drake London has 32 more targets than the next closest pass catcher. And he's got 810 receiving yards, where Bijan Robinson is next at 506. So again, receiver, next closest on targets is your tight end, and second closest on receiving yards is your running back. So he is, by a mile, far and away, their best wide receiver. The next most productive wide receiver is Darnell Mooney with 16 catches for 224 yards. Like, it's Drake London. Massive drop-off when it comes to your receivers, which, for the Saints, who have been really bad at cornerback, have a little bit of a bonus here with Drake London not being there. Not that you ever want to cheer for anyone to get injured, and I'm certainly not cheering for that. It's just something that has to be discussed here at how this alters Atlanta. As a matter of fact, Morris was asked if the offense would look any different with Kirk Cousins under center as opposed to Michael Penix.
It's fair to say it'll look different. You know, obviously with Kurt and and Mike, different playing styles, definitely look a little bit different. You know, what Kurt can do really well, that's what we'll try to do. Things that he does well, the thing that he did well for us when he was starting, you know, some of the things he's done in his past, we'll be able to do some of those things. We'll definitely bounce back and definitely get some, you know, have an ability to sit down and talk with him throughout the course of the week. But definitely fair to say that it looked different than what it looked with Mike. You know, you named a lot of the differences, you know, left-sided offense, right-sided offense, some of those different things.
Of course, being that Cousins is a right-handed passer and Penix is a left-handed passer, that's what he's alluding to there. So it does change your protections, your backside protections, all that sort of stuff. But you also likely are going to lean more on Bijan Robinson. Atlanta is 13th in the NFL in rushing yards at 119 rush yards per game. So naturally, you would look at New Orleans, which at times this year really struggled defensively to stop the run, as being a team that they would line up and try to run the ball against the Saints. But it's also fair to mention, the last time we saw the Saints, they were on the road in Carolina, and Rico Dowdle, although he had the quad injury that week, played, and the Saints stuffed Rico Dowdle. I mean, they made it a commitment to limiting the run and making Bryce Young beat him throw the football, and he was unable to do that. And I know Bryce Young has struggled, but this past week, Young went out there and threw for over 400 yards, setting a Carolina franchise record. So my guess is the Saints will try the same thing this week. They'll load the box. They'll commit to stopping Bijan Robinson. They'll make Kirk Cousins try to beat them throwing the football without Drake London. The game plan's pretty simple. Can they go execute it? But most eyes, of course, for New Orleans this week will not be on the defense. It'll be on Tyler Shuck making his third start, his first home start, by the way. So we'll see if the Saints can get out there and get a win on Sunday with the Falcons coming in. A Sunday afternoon game, the late afternoon game, the 3:25 kickoff on Fox. And by the way, Drew Brees is expected to be on the call for that game in the Dome. So that would be interesting. One other little tidbit there as it'll play out Sunday in the Dome. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together we roar, and as the LSU Tigers are getting onto the hardwood, both the men and the women, really excited to be telling you much more about Our Lady of the Lake and their NIL deals with LSU basketball athletes, Flau'jae Johnson, Michaela Williams, Robert Miller, DJ Thomas. You're going to see us talk so much more in these coming days and weeks about the amazing stories, the effort, the work ethic that those young people have put into their careers to get to this point, and how they trust Our Lady of the Lake with their health, with their training, to be their best on the hardwood. It doesn't matter if you're a world-class athlete at LSU or you're an everyday champion. Our Lady of the Lake is continuing to expand healthcare in our area. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. One other quick note as we continue talking about the whole Kiffin saga. Feinbaum was on SportsCenter, and again, this is the day that Layla Kiffin and Angela Kiffin, Chris's wife, were in Baton Rouge on Monday. Feinbaum, unmoved apparently by that visit, said he still thinks that Kiffin's headed elsewhere.
Lane Kiffin, Matt, is not stopping all this speculation. It's pretty easy to do. We've seen it before. He simply says, I'm staying at Ole Miss. The school announces an extension, even though they've done that a couple of times now, and it's over. And that really is the interesting part. We talked about it yesterday on the Matt Berry podcast. I think we both believe that Lane Kiffin wants to go to Florida. The problem is the playoffs. Could he possibly walk out? Remember in, 2016? Lane Kiffin got the job at Florida Atlantic. He kind of dogged it in a playoff game, and Nick Saban fired him a week before the championship game, costing Saban a championship that year. I don't think Lane Kiffin wants to go through that again.
I think there is a part of it that is legacy. I do disagree with Paul Feinbaum. I think at one point, Florida was the target, the destination. We're in 45 minutes. We're going to go to Gainesville. Zach Abolverdi is going to be here, give us the Florida perspective. I think there's a point in this season when it became clear that Billy Napier was not going to make it, that Kiffin's representatives in Florida were engaging in those conversations, and it became almost apparent that that's what was going to happen. The unexpected part of this was LSU firing Brian Kelly. and then engaging themselves in the Kiffin sweepstakes. And then as he's gathered more information from people he trusts, as we've talked about, Nick Saban, Jimmy Sexton, other people in the coaching communities, LSU has sort of emerged as the front runner. And then, of course, with Lane's family being in Baton Rouge on Monday, and as I understand, that visit went exceptionally well. Not that it wouldn't. I mean, it's like a recruiting visit. Anybody ever have a bad time on a recruiting visit? I mean, they roll out the red carpet and all that stuff. So I do think Lane Kiffin is torn, but I do think he has 3 really good options. But if he does leave Ole Miss, I think that as of today, LSU has surpassed Florida in that pecking order. We'll see what they're saying in Gainesville, which I'd imagine in Gainesville they're probably saying that Florida's still at the front of the line, but we'll ask Zach coming up here in about 45 minutes. All right, it's After Further Review. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Remember, $5,000 off equipment on Black Friday. We're turning Black Friday green over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, Musil do Tigers and the Pros next.
After Further Review.
Right about the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. Final home football game of the year for LSU, meaning Friday, LSU, the football Tigers, will be over at Renaissance Baton Rouge on Bluebonnet. Right near I-10, conveniently located off the interstate, so you get easy access to I-10 to get anywhere in town. Conveniently across the street from the mall in Perkins Row, so really convenient to shopping right there. But, you never even have to leave Renaissance Baton Rouge. Maybe you got family coming in town for the holidays. Tell them about Renaissance. Tons of guest rooms and every amenity. Beautiful workout facility, the whole pool area, although as it gets colder you're probably not going to be swimming. Office areas in there, Tallulah, the restaurant and bar inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. Beautiful, especially if you're at a high floor room. Beautiful panoramic views of the city. It's right there on Bluebonnet. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge. And if you're hosting an event, they'd love to host you. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunnyquip.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Schoenfagen and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Attention diesel mechanics, River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
All right, we're wrapping up hour number 2. Riley Ortego sent a text on the show text line. It's a photo of the Got Lit light installer's truck, and it said, "It's disgusting." That I immediately thought of you saying, "The dread of Christmas lights." No, I didn't say the dread of Christmas lights in the spot. I said, in the dread of decorating for Christmas, right? I love Christmas, everything. I just don't like decorating for Christmas. That's why you let Got Lit light installers do it. By the way, they're full. I talked to Derek 2 weeks ago. I always tell you, Got Lit's awesome, but if you think I'm going to wait till after Thanksgiving, you missed it. They do all their estimates, they get their log, and then it's all installs from Halloween through Thanksgiving, and then they're done. So you missed it. But good luck. They're awesome. Got Lit light installers, gotlitlights.com. Okay, Muso. Tigers in the Pro.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start with an update on Kayshon Boutte. Of course, he's dealing with the hamstring injury. Mike Vrabel, when he met with reporters on Monday, did say that Kayshon Boutte is expected to return to practice on Wednesday. Does sound like from the quote that it will be in a limited capacity, and they'll continue to monitor him throughout the week. He's missed the last 2 games with this hamstring injury as well. So it'll be a big boost. Kayshon is the second leading receiver on the team for New England and the team leader in receiving touchdowns. Of course, the Pats tied for the best record in the NFL right now. We'll see. Keep monitoring throughout the week on Kayshon Boutte. Monday Night Football, the Raiders got destroyed by the Cowboys, but Devin White was the leading tackler for Las Vegas. 10 total stops in the ballgame. Did also have a hit on the quarterback. Of course, let's say, though, the Raiders, they fell 33-16. Couple NBA notes for you from Monday. Trendon Watford, limited role for the Philadelphia 76ers, just 19 minutes, but did gather up 8 points and 4 rebounds and 4 assists. So he was very productive, plus 10 in those 19 minutes. Also, 5 fouls. So that's another reason for those minutes. You see a decrease from what he would normally play. One guy whose minutes have not decreased, that's Naz Reid. 23 more of them off the bench, almost a point a minute. 22 of them.
Should have stayed.
12 rebounds as well. Double-double. 22 and 12 for Naz. 50% from 3. And Timberwolves, they roll along, absolutely thump the Dallas Mavericks a night ago. NBA action tonight for LSU guys. You're looking at Duop Reith, and you would be looking at Cam Thomas, but as we told you a few weeks ago, he's injured right now for the Nets. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Hey, right now, temperatures are dropping. Well, not today, but temperatures are dropping, and savings are heating up at Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. How about this deal? Now through December the 9th, she's got a few weeks on this one. Get $80 back when you buy a set of 4 select Michelin tires and get free installation, which is $118 value, and use your Shawbills credit card. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to shop Michelin tires and for complete offer details. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. That offer is valid September 24th through December 9th. Void where prohibited, subject to credit approval. You can get all the deets at ShawbillsTire.com. The bottom line, y'all, you want to buy name brand tires at wholesale prices, you go to Shawbills. Hitting the road this holiday season to head for Thanksgiving to see family or for Christmas, whatever it may be, and you need the best tires on the road, maybe an oil change or your tires rotated, go to Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. I do love my show text line. I get to answer a lot of your questions there, interact with you. A lot of people want updates on the coaching search. That's where I'll post them when I have them. Then there's this from Christopher who said, Matt, I have a theory. I believe something went down at halftime of the A&M game that led to the second half collapse and the firing of the AD, the head coach, and the OC. No. Not at all. You just got the crap kicked out of you in the second half by a good team, and you're not very good. So I love my text line. I don't love not smart stuff like that. Although I'm sure Christopher's a good dude. I'm not saying his last name, just out of respect. I don't want to put him out there like that. But yeah, no. That's not a thing. There was this, though. Sam said, Matt, with all the John Summerall talk, would that open the door for Blake Baker to Tulane? Yes. I do remember Blake Baker played at Tulane, and I do believe that had John Summerall left last year, taken a job a year ago, that and there was some of that scuttle, that Baker would have been at or near the top of Tulane's list, and that could happen again. And it certainly feels like Summerall is not going to be at Tulane next year. Now, one of the things out of Auburn, again, all of this is just, I don't mean this to be hearsay. It's conversation I've had. Internally there at Auburn, I know Cam Newton is pushing for Eli Drinkwitz at Auburn. Drinkwitz was Cam's quarterback coach the year they won the national title. So there's a relationship there. That doesn't mean that's going to happen. But it seems as though John Summerall would be the front runner at Auburn. And if Lane Kiffin leaves, there's a lot of belief out of Oxford that Ole Miss would be interested in Summerall. So either way, one of those two SEC jobs feels like Summerall could very well slide in there if Ole Miss opens and if Auburn offers him that job. And if Tulane were open, yeah, I do think Blake Baker would absolutely be a candidate. But I'm not ruling out Blake Baker as a candidate at LSU either, depending on how the Lane Kiffin stuff materializes. So don't go anywhere as the coaching carousel turns. All right, it's After Further Review. Sean Salisbury is going to join us for hour number 3 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Go to the website, parishrestoration.com. If you have mold or think you might, sometimes you got mold in the walls and you don't even know it. In your attic, you don't even know it. I mean, if you start to see water spots on your ceiling, like that didn't just start today. You've probably had like a slow drip, which means you've had water in your attic or in your insulation and stuff for a while, which means you could have mold. I mean, Louisiana is the mold capital of the world because it's wet and humid here. That's a breeding ground for mold. So if you have mold or think you might, call Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. They'll be in touch with you. They'll give you an estimate. But it's not just mold. It's really any type of remediation or sanitization. If you have odor, if you have maybe an illness going through your home or your office, you want to knock it out, down to the spores, Parish Restoration can help. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. College Hoops Champions Classic at MSG tonight. Coverage here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app underway for Kentucky and Michigan State, followed by Duke and Kansas with tip at 9 Eastern. Kansas freshman Darren Peterson will miss tonight's game with a hamstring injury. The projected #1 pick in the NBA draft finished with 22 points in a loss to North Carolina back on November 7th in his most recent action. In the NBA, Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo will miss 1 to 2 weeks with a low-grade groin strain. Giannis left last night's loss to the Cavs in the first quarter, off to one of the best starts of his career, averaging just under 33 points on 63% shooting, 11 rebounds and 7 assists per game through his first dozen of the season. In the NFL, Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers dealing with a small fracture in his left wrist that will not require surgery. Head coach Mike Tomlin did not rule him out for Sunday's game against the Bears. Mason Rudolph potentially in line to start if Rodgers can't go.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy. Coming on Wednesday, the Chiefs are currently outside of the playoffs, so have they lost their aura, and can they get it back? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Zach Abolverdi will be here in 30 minutes from right now. He covers the Florida Gators, so we'll go to Gainesville to kind of get the Florida perspective on everything that's happening with Lane Kiffin. It's just abundantly clear that right now you've got Lane Kiffin weighing his options, which are stay at Ole Miss and coach this team through the college football playoff, or leave. And if you do leave, is it LSU or Florida? We've covered plenty from the LSU side. A day ago, we heard from Neil McCready, who covers Ole Miss for Rebels 247. So we'll hear from someone who covers Florida here in about 30 minutes from right now. Waiting on Sean Salisbury to jump aboard. If you missed Lane Kiffin earlier today, he was a guest on the McAfee show. First and foremost, the newsy thing is McAfee asked him about the reported ultimatum that Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, reportedly gave him, according to Stuart Mandel. This is what Kiffin said on the McAfee show.
That's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that at all. And so I don't know where that came from, like a lot of stuff that comes out there. Like I said, man, we're having a blast. I love it here. I mean, our running back's sitting right over here. It just couldn't be better. Like I say, You pray for things. Our fans prayed for this type of thing, and now we're in the middle of it. So enjoy it. You're 10-1. You're getting ready. You got a bye week. You get to watch half the country lose, and there's no way we can lose Saturday. And then you play the Egg Bowl and go dominate that and keep that Egg Bowl trophy home where it's been for a long time.
Kiffin, by the way, I talked about this on Locked on LSU. By the way, if you don't subscribe to Locked on LSU, it's a great time to get. It's a daily LSU podcast I do just on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Please subscribe to Locked on LSU. Talked about it last night in an episode I dropped that the word ultimatum was probably a little strong. Maybe this is just semantics, but it certainly feels like a reality that Ole Miss is pushing Lane Kiffin for decision. And I don't think it's going to get to the Egg Bowl before ultimately he meets with Keith Carter and makes a decision, whether we know it publicly or not, because Ole Miss is going to have to decide if they're jumping into the hiring cycle. They're going to need to know. So we'll continue to have that conversation. Every Tuesday we visit with Sean Salisbury. Of course, you can follow Sean and his show Unpaved on YouTube as well. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Hey man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you?
Well, it's a different kind of week, as it's been a different kind of month ever since LSU fired Brian Kelly. Do you have a I'm not asking you for like any type of like insider info or anything, but do you have an opinion on Lane and how he would fit either at LSU, Florida, or staying at Ole Miss?
Well, I think Lane Kiffin is to the point where he's proven he'll fit anywhere. I mean, when he first started, the thing, and I used to, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but, Monty was a linebacker, Monty, his dad, God rest his soul, on our Minnesota staff, and was a very dear friend of mine. And he used to come, we'd go watch Lane play high school football on a Friday night in Bloomington. And Monty and I would go sit in the stands, and I've kidded him about, well, you didn't invent the forward pass, although you may think you did, joking around. And over the years, he's become, I think he's the closest thing we have to Mike Leach now as far as like that needle mover. Eli's pretty close to it, but as far as just moving the needle, everybody wants to know what Lane says all the time. And I think he's matured. When he was at Tennessee as the head coach, I think he was just a young hot shot that he knew football but didn't understand the leadership part. And then when he got at SC, I think it was forced at times trying to fit into that Trojan way, not as an assistant, but when he was the head coach and then with the Raiders as well. And being with Saban, I think, turned his perspective and shifted his paradigms. He's always been a bright guy, always been a great salesman, always been great swagger, brash, all of it. But there's now that mix of, you look at him different. I've always loved him, but people that look at him, instead of just being brash or arrogant, he may be brash. Mike Leach had confidence, but there's this sense of humor that goes with it now. And everybody wants to know what he tweets out and all of it. So I think he's matured. That's why I think now, if you'd asked me this years ago, I said, I'm not real sure where he fits right now as he's trying to find his way. And being on Saban's staff and how to handle that maturity and probably getting his ass chewed once in a while, which is okay. Who hasn't? I think he's stored all this up and used it the right way. And he's turned, they're not Clemson yet because they haven't won national titles, but he's kind of doing for Ole Miss what Dabo's done for Clemson. He's building a program that has never been a household name when it comes to football. It's been up and down and up and down. The names have been more important than the university. Archie and Eli, and now it's Lane Kiffin's the face of the program. And so whether it's Florida or LSU, I think he's a fit because, one, he knows how to recruit. He embraces the portal and NIL, which whether you like it or not, you have to embrace it or you'll get left behind. He's active on social media, so young guys think he's cool. He's matured enough with some of his quotes and stuff that maybe the more experienced, I don't want to say old, more experienced coaches have seen him transform. And I think there seems to be a peace and a happiness about him that maybe when you're first starting out and moving up the ladder, it's not there. And so I admire him. I don't know if he's going to get the job. They're looking, if you've heard Dillingham, who would be great, and there's a lot of names floating around. No one hotter than Lane Kiffin. But the way I look at it, if you didn't go on vacation to Baton Rouge and Gainesville, he's listening. And I think he probably does love Ole Miss. And I think there's only three things that come to this. One, you're doing it because you want to heighten your extension and a lot bigger money at Ole Miss, and you can build it because the great equalizer has been, if they'll contribute to NIL and do it, that's the great equalizer. That's part of the reason I think Saban got out. His advantage was always being a great recruiter. The parents and the kid, he owned them. I don't mean own them that way, but was able to go in their locker room and own that emotion. and it gave him an advantage on everybody else. And then NIL and transfer portal came in. He didn't want to do it. He had to do it. And so that took away what his biggest advantage was. Aside from hiring great staff, Nick always was a better recruiter than you. Everybody. And Lane's got some of that in him. But now with this, so I think that it's either one of three things. He's doing it to get a bigger pay raise, and don't blame him. Who doesn't? He's doing it because he is going to leave. Or he's doing it because he really does not know. That he's trying to think if somebody will grab him around the jersey or the collar and say, man, this is the job for you. He's not just doing it for, what craps and giggles, because this is an important gig and he is a hot commodity. So my only feel is this: at Florida and LSU, he will have a better opportunity just with the recruiting base in that area, both places. But I think I'm looking at it today and talked about it on my show earlier. I think as far as recruiting goes right now, that he's the one with the coach, and the other two without a coach are still ranked higher in the recruiting world right now. So that's just the fact. So that's there. And does he want to be in Florida or Baton Rouge? He want to be in Ole Miss? I think there's still a really good chance he stays. And I also think, well, not an ultimatum, Matty. I think that there's got to be pressure. And if I'm Ole Miss, I would too. You don't want to get left hanging with this. You got to start to push this forward and say, what are we going to do here? And they may pay him and extend his contract. But whoever gets him, it's not like, well, he could fit in at USC. He can now, if he went back, he could fit in at LSU. He could fit in at Arizona State. He could fit in at Oregon. He's got one of those personalities and ability to coach and get people to come there. That unlike somebody who's like an East Coast, Northeast personality, I think it doesn't matter. I think Lane's chameleon, and I think he can fit in anywhere.
Yeah. Well, he's it's been all the conversation here that's not going to settle down until he makes a decision and they decide.
Do they want him there? What's the local buzz, Matty? Do you feel like they want him big time?
His wife, Layla, his ex-wife, was in Baton Rouge on Monday.
Right.
He's the top target. They'll pay him whatever it takes to get him. It's just a matter of him making the decision. Where does he want to be? Is he going to stay at Ole Miss?
Right.
Is he going to pick LSU or Florida? But
nice to have options, isn't it, Matty? Where you wanted by 4 or 5 places, and you can go wherever you decide. Nice gig,
and not just options. Yeah, good options. Like they're all any of them are really good options, whichever he decides.
What do you want? You want the Lambo, the Ferrari, or the Maybach? I guess whatever it is, right? Yeah, no doubt about that. For me, it'd be Augusta, Pebble Beach, or Cypress Point. Which one do you want? So good on him.
I think he's looking. I think he's looking for legacy, man, where he can go and win multiple championships. We'll see what he decides.
Yep.
Sean, let me catch up on a break, man. We'll come back. I do want to talk about the New Orleans Saints because Saints are going to play the Falcons. Penix is out with a knee injury. I want to get Sean's take on that, what we might be able to expect from Tyler Shuck this week. As always, brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore, a better form of hydration. Find it at great local retailers near you. EVAMOR, Evamore.com, a Louisiana product. Natural artesian water. It's a rare alkaline source. You can find it online or at any great local retailer. Go to the website at evamore.com, hit the store locator tab, and type in your zip code, and boom, it'll pop up all the stores near you where you can find Evamore. Drink it every day. We have it on the set with us every day. You should as well. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, quick break. Come back. We'll talk some black and gold. Saints-Falcons this weekend in the Dome as the Saints are coming off the bye, and Falcons are going to be without their quarterback and their best receiver. We'll ask Sean his take on that as we continue on AFR.
AFR.
Well, if you are buying or selling a home, you need a realtor. So start there. 75% of people, 72% is actually the number, that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. So save yourself the time and the money. Let's just get that out of the way first. You need to hire a realtor. Then you got to decide who you're going to hire. You're going to hire your friend from high school who's a realtor part-time. You're going to hire Aunt Cindy, the realtor. Or are you going to hire a realtor like Darren James? How awkward would it be at Thanksgiving if you had to fire Aunt Cindy because she wasn't selling your house? Well, with Darren James, you don't have to worry about that. He's got a no-risk guarantee. If at any point you're not thrilled with the work, the service Darren's doing, fire him. Let you out of the contract free and clear, no questions asked. But the bottom line is there's a reason Darren James, number 14 in the country on the transaction side. Agent225.com. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
We typically
think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
But if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Black Friday turns green. Save up to $5,000 on equipment over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury is with us. Saints are coming off a bye. Good feeling in the belly going into the bye on a win after the long losing streak. But, Sean, the actual conversation flips to the other side in Atlanta where Michael Penix could very well be done for the year, and so now Kirk Cousins will sort of resume that starting role. Let's walk through the dynamics there and start with kind of an obvious one. How does Atlanta's offense change with Cousins as opposed to Penix?
Well, hopefully Cousins gets some conversation on the sideline from veterans and coaching staff, unlike Penix did. That's where, I mean, are they working with these guys? And I'm being a bit, hyperbolic and facetious, but, going through when Michael Penix said he had nobody to turn to, it first hit me like, what's going on that staff?
Wow.
It really bothered me, and it still does, because if that's the way we communicate with our quarterbacks, no wonder. Look around you. Look at some of the look around at the lack of development that we're going through in the NFL. And I caution, and I don't mean this in a overly derogatory way, but it fits. Just because people coach at that level, and just because there are people in front offices, they're not all experts. They miss, and they miss a lot. And just because you can draw it on a whiteboard doesn't mean you can communicate. And if you're not communicating, then I suggest you take 2 weeks off and find a different career, because you're not making the kid better. I'll start there. With this, they're less versatile, because even though Penix and God bless him, man. But this is the 5th time now in his football career, college and pro, that he will have missed a season or parts of a season because of an injury. He's a good guy and he can rip it. Probably is losing a little versatility because of the injuries to the lower half and stuff that have caused him when it happened at Indiana. But I admire him and his grit. I do, and his grind. But you still lose. Cousins isn't going to do that. One thing Cousins has always been, whether you want to call it a master or some of us would say, I wish he'd do more of it. He does not like to throw the ball away. That's not been a specialty of his. And I think he's a hell of a leader and a fierce competitor. And he's a starter, and he's good enough to be a starter in the league. Now, he lost it to Penix, and that's been well documented. But you get to him, you'll get sacks because unless visualizing from the back. He's admitted when he lost the job that he wasn't making good decisions and turned the ball over. And he's a great, and the reason why, unlike Penix, you don't need a lot of communication. He's been in the league long enough that he'll see it. You're mentally ahead because Cousins has been around the league longer for no other reason than he's been in more games. And maybe we've seen this with a lot of veterans come back in after you went to the bench and got a different perspective of how you want to get that. And it's really not just for Atlanta, but it is also a showing ground and a teach for others about where's Cousins. Is he worth being a starter somewhere else next year if you're in a bridge season or two, whether it's Atlanta or somewhere else? And who knows how long, or what will happen for Penix down the road. So you're going to get the veteran part who can handle it, but you get to him. He doesn't like to throw it away, whether that's statistical driven. He was one that will hold on to it and make sure that somebody's open before he throws it. We'll see what he's learned from there. Atlanta's defense on that side of the ball is not, they're mid-range. They're okay. And between 16 and 25, depending on passing and rushing. And so you can run the football on them and you can score on them. But, the Penix loss, it just, gives Cousins another chance because he was the guy before he lost to Penix. He was making poor decisions and poor throws. But he's always been a 4,000-yard, 30-touchdown, 25-touchdown machine when he's been a starter. I'm anxious to see what perspective he has and how he Penix. Penix is a little better at it. Cousins isn't going to crush with legs. He's a pocket guy. You're not going to see much launch point change, but he'll probably, because of the experience, be able to see stuff quicker than a second-year quarterback still learning what it's like. And remember, it's also, there's the turnovers and the rest of it and staff. So you can probably trust Cousins with a little more bandwidth because of the infancy of Michael Penix's career.
Sean, what about the absence of Drake London, who is by a mile their best wide receiver and also their leading pass catcher?
If the Saints get beat via the pass this week by somebody else, then you'll deal with it. Yeah. I'm just telling you, if you do not let the guy in the backfield beat you, because that's their bread and butter. He is a phenomenal football player. When you mention the best guys in this league, versatility-wise, Barkley, him, Bijan Robinson, he is one of those guys. McCaffrey, he's in the team picture. So I'm selling out to now. Here's the problem, though. Cousins can beat you, but will you get separation on the perimeter with your receivers? I'm going to gamble at least when I come out of this game plan as I prep this week if I'm the Saints. I'm going to gamble because we come out of this game and it's 28 carries for $160. Forget it. It won't matter how Cousins plays. The Saints will not win the game. So you gear up and you make Cousins get some rust off. You make him, he made some throws last week when he came in, but there's still some rust. You make him, force him to beat you. And if they do, then you take your hat off and tip your cap to him and say, okay, no Drake London. Cousins is trying to find another guy or two to get this thing rolling and go. But if you come out of this game and Bijan Robinson has 7 catches and 35 touches and 28 rushes for $160 and 2 touchdowns, then that's just on the Saints. So I would make them throw to win, and it's odd because you're doing it against a veteran who can throw to win. But they're so diminished on the perimeter as far as losing their guy, and London is by far their best player on the perimeter, not named Bijan Robinson. I would expect the Saints to say, like all defensive coordinators, but even more so this week, you have got to prevent a lot of touches and a lot of yards and home runs in the run game and the screen game for the Falcons.
Falcons are on a 5-game losing streak. Sean Salisbury is our guest. This is the first time the Saints and the Falcons have locked up, and it's a different Saints team now with Shuck making his third start. How do you think the Saints coming off the bye, offensively, Shuck, now third start matchup against Atlanta's defense?
I would, like I said, I think that you've got to be multiple. I would, if you're going to line up and do it, their head coach and their defense they can create confusion. They are really good at that. But, statistically, and sometimes can be overrated. When we talk about yards, Denny Green used to tell us, they can throw for 500 yards if they kick 3 field goals and we win and it's 28-9. Who cares? Yeah. Although the ego part of defenses, but it's keeping them out of the end zone, and the truth is the main ego of defenses is scoring. They don't want people to score points. And the other side is they don't want you to physically manhandle them. Every now and then, if you get finessed to death by Dan Marino, you'll accept it. The guy throws it, that's it. But when you take body blows and get beat that way, that's an ego and self-worth killer. It like will steal your soul. So if I'm the Saints, I'm attacking. I would not go. There's no reason to go in this game tiptoeing around and say, well, let's play it close to the vest. Why would you? You got to air it. Let's see what. And that doesn't mean drop back and throw it 50 times unless you have to. But stay to the game plan. Do what got you the win with Shook in the first place. And I know it's Atlanta, but Atlanta's on a losing streak too, and they've got injuries. It's not exactly like they're world beaters. They can be had by anybody in the league. So I would, Shook's a smart guys. Let's be multiple. You've had 2 weeks now to add some stuff. Force them to play your hand, because you would like to think, regardless of the personnel on defense for the Saints, that you if you take Robinson away, and it'll be a challenge that you can compete there. So I'm not going into this playing safe. The Saints, we're now around Thanksgiving. What do you got to lose but another game? Now, if you were playing tank for somebody, I guess, but you, as a first-year head coach, you're not doing that. You're trying to win. Coaches don't think like that. Maybe front offices do, and usually, but coaches and players don't think about, hey, let's play it close so we get beat and we get the first pick next year. I don't think people think like that. Front offices do as you get later in the season because they want to get this guy and it helps them. I don't, and I wouldn't imagine Shook does it. I wouldn't imagine Kellen Moore wants to go in and embarrass himself. So I'm letting it rip. To me, I want to run it. I want to throw it. I want to be versatile. I want to get my 65 to 70 plays in. And if you come out of it with 28 runs and 30 throws, or 25, 35, and 35, or whatever, good. I'll take it. But I'm not playing scared. I'm sure as hell not playing soft, and I'm not playing worried. It's not like you're battling for first place. Yeah. You're trying to go win. And most teams I've been on, or players I've been around, that play not to, let's play it safe and let's tiptoe. You end up getting your ass handed to you and beat down. So let it rip. Just be smart with it. And it's another chance to expand and see what this quarterback can do. Because remember, this just isn't going to be about 2025. For the Saints, the draft and free agency is huge, knowing what's going to happen with that position and other positions as you evaluate your team. I'm not learning anything from being afraid to win. I can promise you that. Let it rip.
He is Sean Salisbury. Get him at Sean Unfiltered. Be fun in the Dome on Sunday, 3:25. It's always fun when it's Saints-Falcons, even with losing records.
No doubt. That's exactly right.
It's never boring. Make sure you get him Unpaved on YouTube as well. Go subscribe to the channel. Sean, you're the best, man. We always appreciate your time on these Tuesdays, man. Thank you.
Keep up the great work, brother. Thank you.
We appreciate it. That is Sean Salisbury. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Of course, if you're buying 1,000 acres for agriculture, First South Farm Credit can help. Want to buy that land to build your family's dream home? Maybe you want to have multiple homes on a piece of property where a family can all live on the same piece of property. First South Farm Credit. Maybe it's that recreational property. Tired of sharing a hunting lease. You want your own property for next hunting season. Start that process today. First South Farm Credit should be your first call. Log on to FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Again, FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Thanks to Sean for being here. Shea Dixon was here in hour number 1. We talked a little recruiting as the Tigers are heading into their final home weekend of the season, final chance to get recruits into Tiger Stadium. So if you missed that, you can catch AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Okay, we're going to knock out a break, and we're going to head to Gainesville. A day ago, Neil McCready was here, covers Ole Miss. We'll get the Florida perspective of the Kiffin saga when we return on AFR.
AFR.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I know. We haven't even got to Thanksgiving yet, and I'm not skipping the holidays around here. Okay, I'm not one of those people. But if you're not at least preparing for Christmas, I mean, you're doing it wrong. And I got to tell you to just make sure you add to your calendar November the 29th. We're 11 days away. Saturday, November 29th, at the Cleggs on Greenwell Springs. It's the Poinsettia Open House. There'll be Santa pictures, kids' activities, tons of treats as well for the kiddos. And most importantly, over 10,000 poinsettias. Different colors. Beautiful. When you see the rows and rows and rows, it is incredible, an incredible sight to behold. The Poinsettia Open House, Saturday, November 29th at Clegg's on Greenwell Springs.
Attention diesel mechanics. River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan.
Always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunnyQuip.com, SunnyQuip.com. Last chance to tailgate at Tiger Stadium this year. If you need your portable generators, your, let's say fans, but how about portable heaters? I don't even know if it's going to be that cold this weekend, but they got it all over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. A day ago, we went to Oxford. We've talked plenty about the Baton Rouge perspective. Let's head to Gainesville to get the Florida perspective on the Kiffin saga. Our buddy Zach Abolverdi, Gators Online, that's part of On3. He's also in ESPN Gainesville, hosts the tailgate. Good enough to join us here on AFR. Hey, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Just trying to keep this phone charged.
Yeah, I can empathize. Okay, let's kind of go chronologically, because over the weekend there were reports. I don't even know how credible they were, Zach, but there was maybe better to say rumors that Kiffin to Florida was done. Start there, and maybe what led to that perspective that this was a seemingly a done deal with Kiffin to Florida, if it was.
Yeah, that all stemmed from some social media posts and some message board posts that were made within the Florida sphere of, Gator sites and Gators Twitter that kind of created that. There was never a credible report that I saw from that suggested that was going to happen. Now Florida's standing with Lane, I think, has always been considered very well, and there's been reports on that, but that's where all this kind of buzz happened about something going down Sunday. I never thought that was going to be the case. Maybe there was some news and developments that came out, but not a decision made.
Is it fair to say that there is mutual interest, that Florida wants to hire Kiffin and Kiffin has interest in Florida?
Yeah, I reported that on Monday at Gators Online, that there is mutual interest, and that much we know. There has been interest from Lane Kiffin in the past when Florida opened, and that was back in 2021 when it fired Dan Mullen. And there's interest this time around too. And this time around, I think it's more serious, and it's gotten more serious, even though he's probably less willing, I guess, to leave Oxford than he would have been back in 2021 when maybe he was jockeying for this job. Now there's some family dynamics, and his whole family is in Oxford, and as he said, he's in the good old days right now. So it's going to take the right situation to pull him away. But I think Florida and LSU, honestly, are one of the few opportunities that would even get consideration from him.
Yeah, you mentioned the family considerations. There's been a lot of chatter about Lane's ex-wife, Layla, who they've reconciled. Her dad, of course, John Reeves, we've talked about, played at Florida. She went to Gainesville. How much, if at all, do you think that may factor into the decision?
I think it's going to factor heavily. I think that when he decided to turn down Auburn in 2022, which was a year after the Florida job opened up, around that window, he was clearly maybe looking at some other opportunities and kind of, still in that blue blood phase. But I think that his daughter really talked him out of that Auburn job. This time around, I think it's going to be his son. I think that his son, being a sophomore in high school, playing quarterback with aspirations to get recruited, to play at the next level, he's going to have to get in a good situation from a high school standpoint wherever they end up. And if they're going to leave Oxford, and obviously I think that was the purpose of these trips that took place over the past couple of days, was to figure out the lay of the land and see where their son would be going to high school, because that's got to be something that's checked before I think they make a move anywhere.
Yeah. Zach Abolverdi's with us, at Zach Abolverdi, if you want to give him a follow there on Twitter. Gators Online, that's part of the On3 network. Also host of the Tailgate on ESPN Gainesville. By the way, can you fill us into whatever you know? What did who was on that trip in Gainesville and over the weekend, and what did they do?
Yeah, well, you got me at a good time, Matt. I'm actually on my way home right now to write up a story on that.
Okay.
So I don't want to give away the juice yet. So I don't hear it from my bosses. But I can confirm that they were in Gainesville on Sunday, Layla and Knox. I don't know if anyone else were, but I do know that they were. And there are some things that took place. And I would encourage all the folks that want to know what's happened on the Florida side of things, be checking your phones in about an hour at Gators Online, because I will have a story up about this. But it's clear that they are figuring out, okay, if we do this, where are we going to live? Where's our son going to go to school? Who's he going to play for? Is this a better situation than where he's at right now? Because he's got a great setup at Oxford High School. Like, they're in the playoffs. He's playing in a beautiful stadium. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have to go anywhere. But I do think that he is going to have aspirations to play college and get recruited. So he can't go into a situation that's any worse than what he's in.
Sure. Zach, what's the timeline like for Florida?
I think the timeline is Lane Kiffin's timeline. I don't think that this will get dragged out very, very much longer. I think that we could see a resolution during the Egg Bowl week or maybe soon after in terms of him just coming to a decision and letting the parties know. I cannot imagine that this would get dragged out into the postseason and he's coaching in the playoffs and nobody knows what he's going to do. Like that's not going to happen. Now, what I will say is if he comes out after the regular season and decides to go to Florida and accept the job, but wants to coach his team in the playoff, I don't think Florida would be against that as long as it comes out publicly that he's their guy, for recruiting purposes and what have you. The question would be, would Ole Miss allow him to continue coaching the team if that's the decision that he makes? And I think that's what we're all waiting for next.
I think that's a resounding no. That I don't know if you've heard the same thing, but everything I've heard out of Oxford is there's just no chance they're going to let him coach the playoff if he's not coaching Ole Miss next year.
I would imagine that makes the most sense. It is crazy though just to think about that could be the decision that Kiffin is faced with.
Yeah, I know.
Having to walk away from a championship team and a playoff caliber team that he's built and miss out on a playoff run to go take a new job. It's wild.
Well, it's the bet he's made, but the truth is that he's got three really good options, whatever he chooses. What do you suspect the contract would look like from Florida?
I think that he'll be one of the top three, if not higher, highest paid coaches in college football after this is all said and done. I would say maybe even, number one, number two, but as you know, whatever deal that he gets, there's somebody probably has it contractually obligated that they get to one up whatever deal Kiffin gets from whatever new contract he lands. So he probably won't end up being the highest paid coach, but I think Florida, LSU, or Ole Miss are going to put him up there. He's going to be making more than what he's making now.
It doesn't
significantly.
It doesn't sound like any of the three is going to be outbid. It's going to come down to whatever Lane ultimately wants to do. The money should be equal. If, let's say hypothetically, Lane stays in Oxford or picks LSU, what does Florida do next?
That would be very interesting to see what direction they would go. There's definitely not another option out there that moves the needle like Lane. I think a lot of Florida fans, it's Lane or bust. And I think for Florida and the administration that they want to make that happen. So if it came to that, it would be interesting to see where they go. I think Brent Key would be one of the names to watch. I know Florida fans really like Lincoln Riley. But I don't know if Florida can get him to Gainesville. I don't know if he wants to leave USC. I really like Jed Fish. I think that he would be a good fit for Florida if they got to go back to the drawing board. But those are some of the names that I feel like make the most sense. But again, I don't think any of those names, other than maybe Lincoln Riley, really does it for the fans. There's so much separation between the guy that they want the most and everybody else.
It is amazing how it's gotten to this point. And the parallel, Zach, with LSU and Florida, both 4 years ago, we're looking to hire a coach. Lane wanted either job, neither was interested. Now both are highly coveting and courting. I mean, what a world that we're in right now. And when that's what I wrote last week at Gators Online leading up to this game is Lane Kiffin went from public enemy number one in Gainesville to Florida's most wanted man. I mean, 16 years ago, he was the most hated rival at the time. I mean, when he was at Tennessee talking crap to Urban Meyer and taking digs Florida fans could not stand this guy. And now you can't find a Florida fan that doesn't want him as their next coach. What a world.
It's amazing.
If you want the Florida perspective, make sure you catch it. Gators Online. Again, Zach's going to have that story up about the Kiffin family's visit to Gainesville this past weekend. Gators Online, that's part of On3, and, of course, ESPN Gainesville as well. Get him on Twitter at Zach Abolverdi. Hey, man, we appreciate the time. I know it's busy. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters, too. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. Here's another differentiator for Relief Windows. I always tell you that they're the best. They'll never be the cheapest. But how about this? They never take $1 from you until they're done and you're thrilled. You realize that? They will not. There have been companies, Brandon's told me this. There have been clients that try to give them a down payment, and they won't take it. They are not going to take your money until they're done and you're thrilled. Go find any other company where that's the reality, where they will take 100% of that financial risk to make sure you're thrilled. That's just what Brandon Holly demands. He stands by all of their work, wants you to have the best product, the best experience, everything. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding. They do shutters too. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, I got a jet to an event. So Muse is going to handle Otter locks here after the break. And we'll get Otter's best bets in here. And we'll look forward to a really busy Wednesday here on AFR as this Kiffin saga just is not ending anytime soon. So Muse will take it home with Otter when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. If you want to talk to an attorney, getgordon.com. You can find the phone number there, but it's easy. Just dial a bunch of 8s, 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com. And like I always love to tell you this time of year and every time of year, Gordon loves to be philanthropic, to give back to the communities that he serves, that have given so much to him and his family. It's why Gordon Gives, the philanthropic arm, the charitable arm of the law firm exists, where you can find about all the charitable endeavors that Gordon and his law firm are a part of. Love the bicycle giveaway. It's something Gordon's committed to as his charitable outreach every year around Christmas. Gordon gives away 600 bicycles to less fortunate children all over the state of Louisiana. You want to find out how you can win? Go to @GetGordon on any of the social media platforms, @GetGordon. Get Gordon and get it done.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose. Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Love telling you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. That's Arco Power Systems. We talk about generators a lot in Louisiana, especially all along the Gulf Coast, where we're sort of in this storm belt right here in the Gulf Coast. Well, of course, a lot of people have home standby generators. When we talk about Arco Power Systems, these are not home standby generators. This is industrial generator power. This is for your business. I mean, just think about it. When the power goes out, be it a hurricane, an ice storm, snow like we had last year, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, being offline is not an option. That's why you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Just look at all the locations. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Harvey, Lake Charles, Mandeville, Mobile, LaPorte, Texas, San Antonio, Little Rock, Houston, Dallas. They're everywhere. So if you're a business and you need standby power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 3 here. Wrapping up the day, Tuesday edition of AFR. Scone had to jet. He's got an event, starts right at 6. So I'm going to take you the rest of the way. And, well, we're going to find out what we're betting on tonight. Let's do Outer Locks.
Outer Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
A little impromptu radio today with the Otter. How are you, Otter?
What's up, Moose? Taking a baton on the last leg, huh?
Yes, indeed. Anchor. We're anchoring the relay here,
go.
Otter. We're trying to go for gold.
All right. We got a triple header in action tonight. All games start in a little less than 10 minutes. UMass, me and probably most that do what I do probably have them dead last of the 136 Division I teams. Ohio, I can't play a game with 34 points, but if you want to, I would lay it, but that's not one of my official picks tonight. Let's go to the Battle of Ohio, Bowling Green, and Akron. This was a battle of two 0-10 teams a few years ago. Of course, Joe Moorhead, formerly Mississippi State, he's at Akron. Bowling Green's doing better. Bowling Green is a 3. We put it out at 3. Not crazy that it has dipped down to 2.5 right now at most shops. There is 1-3 out there still at Bet Rivers, but Akron plus the 3 or plus the 2.5 is the bet on that one. We've been on the right side. We had Akron 2 weeks ago. They won it outright. We went against them plus points. We beat them outright, won it straight up. We're going to take them as a dog again. So the dog is covered 2 weeks in a row in the game involving Akron. We hope it happens again tonight, plus the points. Maybe sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. Ooh. Western Michigan at Northern Illinois, the third action game to go. This is at Northern Illinois. Road favorite here, the Broncos. We had them last week, and they cashed the ticket for us. We're going to jump to the other side and take Northern Illinois in the home points. Home dog up. Help me out, Musso, if it's still
7. Yeah, it's still 7.
Right
still 7.
Now, but let me see.
Plus 7. At DraftKings
it is. 7 points and minus 105. Good juice currently at DraftKings. All right, college basketball. One game is underway, and it's the first of the doubleheader, Kentucky and Michigan State, to be followed by the Duke and Kansas. The late game, Kansas' best player is out with a strained hamstring, so he's still out for that game. So that is something to take note of. Kentucky is down 19-17 early on, so I would jump on them. Yep. Minus 1.5 is the line right now. It went off at minus 3.5, but if you didn't bet it earlier, I would get on Kentucky right now, minus the 1.5. And then we got a big dog tonight, and that is Tennessee Martin against Florida State. Tennessee Martin went to UNLV and actually beat them. Sunday, we're at the Queen watching all the games at DraftKings Outlet, and we're watching mostly NFL games. They snuck in that UNLV-Memphis game. UNLV beat them in Memphis comfortably, pretty much gate to wire. So kind of connect the dots there for Tennessee Martin. They've won as big favorites, double-digit favorites twice already this year. We're looking for them to stay more than close and improve to Florida State team, but plus 19.5 is too much tonight in Tallahassee.
All right, we got Northern Illinois plus the 7, Akron plus 2.5, 3, depending on where you shop. Kentucky live right now at minus 1.5 in men's basketball, and UT Martin going off a little bit later on against Florida State plus 19.5. Where are you in Handy tomorrow, Otter?
All right, we're in Mid-City on Government Street at Roca Pizzeria. So come on by and see us getting ready for their holiday menu as well.
Live at lunch, 11 to 1 here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Otter, we appreciate it. Good luck. Thank you, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy. Good luck.
All right. That is Jimmy Ott wrapping us up here on a Tuesday edition of After Review. I forgot what day it was, Paul. It's just, man, it goes by real fast these days. But that's just about going to do it. I thank you to Sean Salisbury. Thank you to Shea Dixon. They were here as well. If you missed those conversations, of course, After Further Review on demand, YouTube, obviously podcast. Just search After Further Review on demand if you want the Saints or the LSU, AFR Saints. Zach Abolverdi was with us in the last segment. He covers the Florida Gators, giving us the scoop on how they're feeling in Gainesville about Lane Kiffin. Now that his family has also made a trip to Baton Rouge. Of course, that happened yesterday again. That'll be all up on demand as well if you want it. That is going to wrap it up here for a Tuesday edition of AFR. Again, Matt, he had to jet out, so taking you home the rest of the way. Thanks to Scone. Obviously, thank you to Paul, and we will be back here tomorrow. Great show booked already for tomorrow. Russ Mitchell. Can't wait to hear what Russ is going to have to say on the whole Lane Kiffin saga. We'll get you that conversation, obviously, tomorrow, as well as a closer look at the Falcons and an update on the Lane Kiffin drama itself. What new has played out there. That's all tomorrow on Wednesday's AFR. Stick around for that.
After Further Review.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well, 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith.
We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.